came to me and he said to me, Pastor B, if there's a girl in the church I should marry, who do you think it should be? And so I was like in a goofy mood, you know, and so I said, well, you know, we had an old lady in the church, her name was Sister Sinclair. She was 85. I said, why did you marry Sister Sinclair? Maybe she'll leave you all her money. I was just saying, you know, and threw a few names around, and then he mentioned a certain young girl in the church. And like The Rock, and also like Chi-Chi, I lifted up my right eyebrow with intrigue. And so I said to him, why don't you ask her out? And so the next day, I watched him in church. He went to this young lady and said, you know, I'd like to take you for coffee and maybe, you know. And she suddenly, April, she got British on him. She was, oh no. Oh no, no, no. I was like, what's up with that? So he asked her the next week, and she was, oh no. 1 week, 2 weeks, no. 3 weeks, a month, no, no. 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, no, no, no. 6 years. In the 7th year, he got an opportunity to come to the United States to train in air traffic control. And he said to me, he said, do you think it's the will of God for me to go to the States and train? It's a year program. I said, well, why don't you go and train? And if it's not the will of God, you can come back after 1 year and we'll know. And so while he's here, he's writing her letters and sending her cards, and she's like, oh no, 8 years, 9 years. Then he goes to China and he trains there, comes back, 10 years. By this time, he's now also pastoring the church. 10 years. Sounds like I'm at an auction now. 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, 15 years, he's still pursuing this girl. 16 years, 17 years, 18 years. In the 18th year, he sees a lady in the church he's been pastoring now for almost 8 years. And he says to this lady, will you marry me? She said, I will. 4 days before the wedding, this girl, oh no, phones him and says, I'll marry you now. Are you jacked up in your head, baby? You missed the midnight train to Georgia a long time ago. My God, it's a rainy night in Georgia. She missed that train, a prisoner without hope. Sisters and brothers, the truth of the matter is that if they'd been married, they would have had 20-year-old children by now, maybe even grandparents. Our son had an attack, an asthma attack not so long ago, and had to go to the hospital in the middle of the night. She was there. Hateful, miserable, looked so empty, a prisoner without hope. And she's crying for a man that she could have married almost 30 years ago. What are you waiting for? The man is sitting right next to you. What do you want? A bouquet of flowers? What do you want? Chocolates? Marry the man. Don't wait until you're too old. Get married now. Buy that house now. Get a visa and go to Hawaii now. Lose weight and get yourself a bikini. Do something. Don't die a prisoner without hope. You are in an anointed house. Get something.